The Temple Owls dropped to 5-3 in Week 9 as they dropped a game to the East Carolina Pirates. It was a hard-fought game, and it was definitely a tale of two halves. Temple outscored the Pirates 14-3 in the first half, but then went ahead and gave up 22 points and only scoring 3 themselves on offense in the second half. Forrest Brock and the offense is playing a little bit better, but there's still much to be desired there. And the defense let East Carolina have a few big drives that caused them to lose the game. It doesn't get any easier as Temple will now face some tough conference opponents, including in Week 11 versus number 21 in the nation, Tulane. Temple is still fighting to become bowl eligible, but they're just one win away. Will that happen versus Tulane? Let's find out. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Temple Owls Dynasty here on College Football 25. We're here in Week 10, and we do have another bye, so that means double dipping on recruiting. We're going to go ahead and do some recruiting and advance the week, see what's happened. We'll continue recruiting, and then we'll get into our game. This week, we've got Tulane. Looking at Tulane, they were ranked last week. It looks like they did drop a game. They sure did. Tulane lost in North Texas in a very close game, 29-28. North Texas, although they're 3-5, are a pretty solid team, and they do play us in 2 weeks, so that's going to be one to look forward to as well. But Tulane, just because they're not ranked anymore, does not mean they will not be a tough matchup. But before we get into that and into recruiting, I want to do a quick overview of our season stats now that we're, in Week 10? I think it's time to take a peek and see how everybody's been doing. Starting off at quarterback, we've obviously been shifting quarterbacks in and out throughout the season. Forrest Brock, I would say, looking at the stats now, he's far and away the better quarterback. He's had a couple good games back-to-back, and although his interception and touchdown ratio isn't amazing, the completion percentage is going up, his yards per game is going up, that rating is going up, and so I think overall, Forrest Brock is probably pretty solidly locked in as starting quarterback unless he has a meltdown or something. And looking at running back, Joquez Smith has obviously been the workhorse this season. A lot of touches on offense, not even just rushing, but receiving. He's got 63 yards per game, 4 scores, and 5.1 yards per carry. Pretty solid. The 2 fumbles, a little costly, but nothing too crazy there. And I think overall, Smith is going to keep getting the bulk of the carries. We've mentioned it before. We'd like to get EJ Wilson involved more just because in his very limited attempts, he's got a really good average there at just under 8 yards per carry, which is insane. So maybe try to get EJ Wilson the ball a little bit more in this back half of the season. And looking at receiving, this is a very interesting spread, I would say. We talked about how the overalls of our receivers are pretty even, and we're seeing that shape up in the stats as well. Reese Clark actually is our number 1 receiver still. He's got 240 yards and 1 score, but really nobody here has got a lot of yards at all. Then looking at receivers, Dante Wright has moved into second place. Just behind him is John Adams, and just behind him is Zay Baines. And Zay Baines, I guess, more of like a longer target with the 15.7 average. John Adams is in the slot a lot of the time, so that 11.7 average makes sense, but he's got a couple more catches. And then you've got Joquez Smith down here as well with 22 catches. We run a lot of screens and dump offs and things like that, and even like the HB fake like fade route or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but he runs that one quite a bit, and so it definitely has got the most touches on offense. It is interesting to see though, our running back and tight end are leading the way in receptions with just a couple guys behind. On defense, Eric Stewart leading the way in tackles. He's got 68, far and away the most. Javier Morton, I swear Javier Morton led in tackles like 3 weeks ago when we looked at this. So Eric Stewart has really come out of nowhere and has been playing out of his mind recently. Trey Thomas still leads with 18 TFLs, but Woodbury and Stewart are right behind with 10. And then with sacks, Trey Thomas 3.5, Woodbury senior 1.5, and then Gene and Keaton just 1 each. We haven't gotten a lot of sacks, and that's something I'd like to hopefully improve upon, whether it be this season or in the future, just getting better pressure. And interceptions, we have had a lot of those. Torrey Richardson leading the way with 4. He had another pick 6. I don't know if that was last game or 2 games ago. And Woodbury, Johnson, and Morton all with 2. Looking at kicking, I don't want to look at kicking. Trujillo's had an awful season. Part of that's my fault, but 5 for 10 is not good. And he's even missed 3 extra points. 16 punts for Dante Atten. I think he's done an okay job. 35.8 yards per punt isn't great. But 3 inside the 20 is solid. And 41 is the long is pretty sad, to be quite honest. But I don't know. I guess he hasn't been like ruining games for us, but I think as a sophomore, hopefully he can step into a little bit more power and get some longer punts next year. And then kick returns. Irvin and Collins have split 14 each. Collins has been more productive. He's got 2 touchdowns, Irvin with 1. We have a lot of return touchdowns this season. And continuing to punt returns, Dante Wright has been solid. He did have the 1 punt return touchdown as well. And even when he doesn't score, he's getting some solid returns. That's going to do it for stats. And now, obviously, I think our season has been kind of crazy with all the pick sixes and return touchdowns and things like that. So I think the stats are just artificially lower because of that. But I have mentioned it before, and I think I've thought about it a little bit more, and I am planning to probably increase quarter lengths next season. I haven't settled on a number yet, but I'm thinking bumping it up at least a minute, maybe 2 to like 9-minute quarters, potentially even 10. I don't really know. I don't want the scores to get out of hand, but I want the yardage to be a little bit more realistic and like the attempts and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. But part of this season being so weird has been we've had the ball like half the amount of time the other team has. So we'll just have to see how things play out. But with that being said, let's get into recruiting. We had 3 more guys drop off our board, but nobody too important, I would say. We're really trying to focus on a lot of these top 3 guys because they're obviously going to be making decisions soon. And in fact, of our 32 targets currently, 11 of them are down to their top 5. This is where we're going to put our focus with the 150 hours we have. And I think I'm going to start here with Devion Peel. We've been kind of coasting along at putting 10 hours into him, but I think we're at the point where we really need to put some more hours into him so we don't lose him to Rutgers or Penn State. So first things first, I'm going to schedule a visit. We're going to do it for week 12 at home versus Florida Atlantic. I think that makes sense. Hopefully he doesn't choose before that visit. And if he does, hopefully it's us. We'll go ahead and do a family visit as well. It makes sense. He is interested in proximity to home, and we have an A for that. In addition, I really don't want to lose out on Devion Peel, so let's add 25 hours. We can take the 10 off, I think, for now and see how that goes. But I think having the visit and bumping up the hours will be good. But it looks like Rutgers is really investing into Peel, so hopefully this will be good enough. We could try to schedule a visit for McBriar. It's just not going to happen in time, so I don't think we will. It seems like we're probably going to lose out to Pittsburgh here. I don't think there's much more we can do. We're already throwing the house at him, so probably going to lose out on McBriar, unfortunately. And then we've got Kevin Allen here. I want to invest into him. We've already lost 2 cornerbacks that we were interested in. He's down to the top 5, and I think what we want to do is schedule a visit for him as well. We can do a complimentary visit with Devion Peel, so we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll do playing style because we have an A+ playing style and he's interested in it. In addition, let's go ahead and remove these 2. We'll put on the family and friends, I think. But I'm actually even considering sending the house. I think just because we have so many guys in the top 5 and top 3, let's just go with 25 for now. George Tam is another one that we're hoping to get. It's looking a little bit bleak. We're sending the house. We've offered a scholarship and we could potentially schedule a visit, but again, we're just not going to get to that. I don't know if you get bonus points for just scheduling a visit or if you have to actually visit, which that would make more sense. But we can see that in the last week, Pittsburgh may have backed off on him. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like their bar didn't go up at all and ours went up a solid amount. I think it's just to the point where we're probably not going to get him. However, I'm just noticing they haven't offered him anything. No scholarship offered to George Tam from Pittsburgh. So maybe they saw something they didn't like in his profile, but we're the only team to offer George Tam a scholarship, which is looking good for us in that regard, at least. We're going to keep the 50 points on him and hopefully we can get him. If not, our backup is probably Nathan Latimer. And, I think he's probably fine as is. We may need to put more time into him eventually, but I think I'm good for now there. And then for other guys, we got Bradley, Chris. We should be able to schedule a visit. They did have a patch come in to fix that bug, which is amazing. Super happy about that. They've patched actually quite a few things, which I'm happy about. But we're going to schedule a visit for week 14. That's going to be a lot of our hours, though. And are we even going to get to week 14? We're locked out of scheduling a visit for week 12. I think it's because we already have 2 guys visiting. But unfortunately, every other team has a visit scheduled, and that's going to hurt us in the long run. And I don't think you can take away a visit, can you? You cannot. So, not that I necessarily would even want to, but Chris is someone I want to get, and it's going to be tough without a visit. I guess what we'll have to do is potentially schedule one for week 14, but I don't know if we're going to do that right now. That's it for top 3 guys. I think for the top 5 people, we have Robbie Mauch, who is a 3-star receiver. You know, he's got a profile that we're okay with, 90 speed. I mean, he's a physical tendency, so having at least decent speed is solid. He's got good 80s across the board and catching traffic and spectacular catch. I would like to know what his mid route running is, because that's kind of where he's going to be as a physical tendency receiver a lot of the time. But I think, you know, we've offered him the scholarship. We have 10 hours into him. I think we'll end up taking the 10 off. We'll put 25 on. Jace Yang is another one we've got here. He is a gem middle linebacker, and I think we want to put a little more than 5 into him. Let's go ahead and put 10 more in and see how that goes. Miles Burdick, we kind of decided he was probably not that good. We're going to leave him on the board, but I'm sure we won't get him. And finally, Kane Wilkins, you know, he's a defensive tackle. He's 3 stars. We're currently in 4th place for him. We haven't scouted him though, so I think maybe what we'll do is just scout him. 86 strength is a good start. We are out of hours, unfortunately, but hopefully he's still on our board, although he might not be because Virginia's about to bring them into the top 3, so we'll see. So that's going to do it here for recruiting in the week. We are on a bye, so we're going to hop right back into recruiting, and the main ones to keep an eye on here are Clint McBriar and George Tam, I would say. Those are the guys in the top 3 that we're really focused on. All right, so here is our weekly recruiting update. Devion Peele has reached his top 3 schools. We are in the top 3. However, Rutgers is investing heavily. We're going to probably throw the house at him if we're not already, and I don't think we are. We got to make sure we get Devion Peele. Bradley Chris has reached his top 3, and unfortunately, we're behind to Rutgers, and I don't think we're going to be able to get that visit in time. We'll try it, but it's going to be tough. We were also locked out of Kane Wilkins, who we talked about and kind of expected. And then Glenn Hajrulahu, who? Yeah, we're locked out of him, but I don't think we had any points into him. There are some other guys like Thad Kampmoyer. I don't think we've looked at him. So we're in 7th, but he's just in his top 8, and it might be someone worth looking into. So here we go, 100 hours on the board, and we are down to 32 targets, and I believe we have 2 guys we need to take off the board. Yep, Wilkins here. And I'm not going to try again. He's off our board. So we're down to 30. We're going to have to add 5 targets. But before that, we have Devion Peele here. He does have a week 12 visit. It is week 11 now, so he's probably not going to make it to week 12 visit, but you never know. What we're going to do is go ahead and send the house. I think it's time. Devion Peele we've been ahead on him for a while, and I think we just haven't. We've kind of let them come back into the race. So I think what we're going to do, Rutgers has now offered, and that's kind of why. Well, actually, that was Tam. We need to look at Tam for that. Ignore me. But anyway, we're just slightly ahead for Devion Peele, and we do have a visit. They don't. So hopefully that helps us out if we get there. Yeah, McBriar is looking pretty bleak. There's not a ton we can do here. We could schedule a visit for week 14. It's clearly not going to get there, though. So I think, honestly, it might take the points off of him. They've already offered. They have a week 12 visit. And I think what we're going to do is take the points off. That way we will have 50 extra points to spread around. Kevin Allen has dropped as UMass moves ahead. We do have a week 12 visit with him as well. I think it's time that we throw the house at him. We really want to lock down 1 cornerback at least. And if we can do that with Kevin Allen, that would be great. Nick Feeney is another one that we're just ahead by a lot, but I kind of want to just keep the lead if we can. So I'll put 5 more into him. Sony Savoy has made it into his top 8. We are in 1st as well. I think we'll do the same thing, just put 5 into him. So Nathan Latimer is not looking great, but I don't think he's one we were particularly interested in. You know, he's got 87 speed for a running back. I know he's a power back, but 6'0", 6 foot, 221 isn't like too huge. And we don't really play with a power back too often anyway. I'd rather have a guy like George Tam, who's like a receiving back. And I mean, right now, it's seeming like we're going to get him. I think Pittsburgh, if they just offer him a scholarship, would get him instantly. But there's not much more we can do. I guess we could schedule a visit for week 12, which is interesting because other people were locked out. I don't know how that works. I think we'll do it because I do want to get George Tam. So let's do that. It's going to spend a lot of our points, but I mean, it's what we have to do. And then Chris, again, like we could schedule a visit for week 14, but you know, it's not going to get there. I think we're probably out of luck here for Chris, unfortunately. So we may end up with no quarterback in this class, or at least not one of our top choices. Looking at the quarterbacks on the board, there's really not many interested in us that are above 1 star. I think probably we just won't end up with one in this class, which is okay. you know, it's probably fine. And Forrest Brock has been showing that he can play, so maybe we'll be all right with that. I'm going to go ahead and offer a scholarship to Anthony Charles. He's a guy that I kind of want to keep at least in the top 5 if we can. So let's add 10 hours. He's a 3-star running back and he's pretty solid. And if we don't get George Tam, I would like to get him. Let's go ahead and finish scouting if we can on Brett Westbrook as well. Oh, I don't think we can. And he's got 63 man coverage, 68 zone coverage. I'm not too impressed, especially as a JUCO junior. So probably out on Brett Westbrook. I'm gonna go ahead and add 5 onto Robbie Much, the last 5 hours we have as well. He's a pretty solid recruit. We talked about him earlier. We're in first, but I don't want Rutgers to catch up. So we'll put the 5 in there, and then maybe he gets a week 14 visit, but we'll have to do that later. So looking at our recruiting class, I am starting to get a little bit nervous with just 2 recruits. We have 1 4-star, 1 3-star recruit. What I will say is we aren't really targeting 1-star recruits, and I think if we were, like a team like Rice has 21 recruits, but 19 of them are 1-star. I think we're getting to the point where we need to start looking at more 2- and 1-star recruits. I think I've been putting all my eggs in the 4-star and 3-star, well, mostly 3-star baskets, but we kind of need to have more than 2 recruits. So, and if that happens towards the end of the season or in the transfer portal, that's fine too. But we sort of need to get going here. We do have just 12 seniors, so I'm not too worried about this class. But we have 26 juniors, and that means a lot of them are going to be graduating next year. So we need to start pumping in the numbers here for this class. It's probably best if we can get, you know, a little more than 12, even if it's like 15 to 20 range. I would be okay with that, but we need to get going. All right, that was a lot of recruiting. Let's get into the game, and we'll start looking at Tulane. So Tulane, they were ranked coming into, or at least at the end of last episode. They've now dropped 2 games straight and are now 6-3, 3-2 in conference. So on a bit of a losing streak, and they're coming here. Well, actually, we're going there to New Orleans, but it's going to be an interesting game here. 2 decent teams in the American Conference. And here's the Tulane team. They've got Mekhi Hughes, who's a really solid running back. I feel like, I don't know if it was necessarily this Dynasty, but I've seen him in like the Heisman voting before. So he's going to be a problem. And we've had issues with running backs this season. So hopefully we can figure that out. They also have 2 guys in Aiden Huntington and Patrick Jenkins, who's actually hurt. I'm not sure if he'll be playing, but if he is, that's a tough unit up front to run on. They also have Mario Williams, the deep threat wide receiver with 94 speed, who may be a problem. Quarterback is Ty Thompson. He's around like, you know, I guess a little bit better than like our quarterback level, but seems like a similar profile quarterback, nothing too crazy. We're going to have to be very careful of the running game, however. So here are the injuries for Tulane, and we're looking at this because of Patrick Jenkins. He is unfortunately, maybe fortunately for us, out for 26 weeks with a torn pec. He's going to be out for the season. He is a senior. That's a tough break. They also have Jalen Geiger, the free safety, out with a partial ACL tear, probably out till the end of the season as well, with 6 weeks remaining. All right, that's enough pregame. Let's get into this one as Temple, 5-3, takes on Tulane at 6-3. All right, here we go. We are in New Orleans at Yulman Stadium as the Temple Owls will kick first. And we are underway. Returnable here from the 2. And he will take it back and gets a hole, but just up to about the 25. So here comes Tulane coming out. We talked about their star running back, Mekhi Hughes, and we'll see if they hand him the ball here early. They do as he cuts outside, nowhere to go, taken down for a loss of 1. So nice start for the Owls defense, as it'll be 2nd and 11. They fake it this time, and coming across, no, he can't bring him down. Hit hard by Cameron Stewart, and that'll bring up 3rd and 11. Temple D looking strong early. It's a 3rd and long for Tulane. They're running a mid-screen, and they will rumble forward, but just up to the 31. That'll be 4th down. So Tulane kicks it away, and here comes your Owls offense. They've been looking a little bit better recently, and we'll see if Forrest Brock can continue improving on his game. So 1st and 10 from the 21. Handoff goes to Smith. He gets ahead to about the 29. That's a 9-yard gain. Joquez Smith continues to be a focal point of this offense, and I'm sure we'll see it here today as well. It's now 2nd and 1. Snap goes right to Smith, and he gets the first down. A little trickery there from Temple. Smith's got 99 carries in the season and 509 yards. Pretty solid average there. It's 1st and 10. They go back to Smith again, and he's got a lane on the outside. Gets about 14 yards up to the 48. First down. So the running game strong early here for Temple as Smith checks out. E.J. Wilson checks in. Handoff goes to Wilson. He gets 2 yards. Now 2nd and 8. Temple yet to throw here on this drive. We'll go back to pass this time. Throws a crossing route. That is Clark. It's a couple yards. So Reese Clark gets his first grab of the game. He's the leading receiver for the Owls, and it is now 3rd and 3. They'll give it to Smith. He cuts inside, but he is short. It is 4th and 1, and we'll see what the Owls do here. So the offense is coming out on 4th and 1. Out of the shotgun, Brock back to pass. Floats one. It's caught. Dante Wright. A nice play. Put the throw right on him, and he makes a good grab and hangs on for the first down. So Temple looking strong here early as they continue the drive here. 1st and 10. It's going to go back to Joquez Smith, and this time not too much. 3 yards. E.J. Wilson checks back in this time on 2nd and 7. Man in motion. They fake the jet sweep and throws it, but good coverage there by the linebacker, and Joquez Smith cannot get it. It's 3rd and 7. That was E.J. Wilson actually on the last one. Now it's 3rd and 7. And Brock is taken down. The play takes too long to develop. They're out of field goal range. I don't know if they were even in field goal range, but they're forced to punt. Temple, good drive, is killed by the sack, and now Tulane will take over. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Hughes. Nothing going there. Good start by this Temple run defense. They've struggled a little bit this season. Good to see them starting out pretty good. 2nd and 10. Up the middle is Hughes. He'll get a few more this time, but it's 3rd and 5. Clock is ticking down to the end of the first quarter here. We'll see if they snap it. They will not, and that's the end of the first quarter. 0-0. So defenses are showing up here to play today as Tulane has another 3rd down. And in motion out of the backfield. Back to pass. No one there. He's hit hard. Gets it away, but that will be 4th and another punt. And are you seeing what I'm seeing? Jacksonville State is projected to be in the college football playoffs? Huh? So a nice punt, but another 3 and out for Tulane, and they will hand the keys over to Forrest Brock and the Temple offense. 1st and 10. Smith gets a yard. They're definitely running a lot early here. When you got a guy like Joquez Smith, it makes sense, but Tulane's catching on, and they stop him there. Now it's 2nd and 9. The play fake. Brock scrambling. He's got one coming. And he's brought down. He does get 3 yards. Brock really doesn't have the speed for that, but he does end up making a nice play, getting a couple yards. So now it's 3rd and 6 for the Owls. And it's picked off. Not a good throw. And that will be trouble. Lou Tillery on the interception. I don't know why I run those curl routes. They never work. If you do it too early, that happens. If you do it too late, that happens. It's all about timing, I suppose, as they will run it again on 1st and 10. 3 yards. So after the interception, Temple defense has got another big opportunity to make a stop as they'll hand it off, and Hughes is just brought down. That's Cameron Stewart again. What a play. He's having a nice game. So 3rd and long again for Tulane, and now they're out of field goal range. This has been an defensive battle today as Trey Thomas comes through, but he can't make the play. And what a catch. Ty Thompson made a good throw, and that's a 1st down Tulane. So the Owls had a chance there, but now they're up to the 22. Hughes running it outside. He's got some room this time. Trucks one to the ground, and he's up to the 6. Nice run there. So first and goal for Tulane. They run the RPO. Touchdown. Nice play. And Tulane gets the first points on the board. Alex Bauman made the catch and runs in for the score. So here comes the Owls after the big interception. Tulane was able to convert and score, and we'll see what the Owls can do this time on offense. First and 10, Smith going nowhere, loss of 1. You just got to calm down here if you're Forrest Brock. You're going to throw interceptions sometimes, it's all right, but it's how you recover from them. Second and 11. Waiting for blocking, and he gets some. Spinning, breaks another tackle up to the first down marker, and he will get it. First and 10. A nice play there. And it's first down and 10 as we're getting close to the 2-minute warning. Brock changes the play. Play action. Floats it. Nice play. Adams with the catch for 9. John Adams, I've really been impressed by him. I talked about it last game, but he has been a good safety valve type of throw, those little crossing routes for 10 yards, and he's been doing a good job of it this season. Brock in trouble, and he goes down. He just didn't feel comfortable back there in the pocket. That'll bring up third down. So third and 4. Brock's got the icicle. Well, that's a snowflake, but you know. Third and 4. And no one blocking the man coming through. He'll be sacked, and that is trouble. So Temple, in one of the first times I've ever seen they have more possession, but unable to score. Now Tulane with a chance. Go up 2 scores here, first half. This one, angled outside. Wide open, caught. First down. First and 10 now from the midfield. Open again on the outside. That was about the same route, seems at least. And they will connect. Thompson doing a good job here. Temple's got to get pressure. They've really been struggling to this season outside of Trey Thomas at times. And they will throw it over the middle this time. Gets another 15 yards up to the 16. The Temple defense getting slashed here. Tulane brings it into the red zone. Play clock down to 4. And open again on the outside. He'll get out of bounds. So you got to make a stop here if you're Temple. But it's been tough this drive. Second and 4 to the end zone. It's picked off. And he's bringing it out of the end zone. Up to the 20. And brought down at the 19. That was Jalen Lewis, the sophomore. So a huge stop for the Temple defense as they continue to carry this team. Now they'll get a chance. This one over the middle. That's John Adams. Timeout Temple. So you have to go 80 yards in about 22 seconds. That's tough, but you can also kick a field goal, of course. So getting it close will be good. And this one's back to Adams. The safety was lurking. Not a good throw. And Forrest Brock trying to do too much as it's now a turnover right back to Tulane. Saw Adams open there for a brief second, but the safety was there the whole time and makes the play. Now Tulane gets a chance. This one broken up. Good play there. Andreas Keaton this time. So 7 seconds. You can try to make a quick throw, call a timeout, and then kick. It's probably your best bet. As it's down to 5. It's caught, but going nowhere. They will call the timeout. Too far for a field goal. So this is probably the last play of the game, or the half here. And back to pass. Good protection. He's got a shot. Back of the end zone. And it's broken up. So Temple is shut out in the first half. And their defense played well too, but 7-0. 3.5 yards per play is not good. Temple did have more possession, but not a single third down conversion. On the bright side, Temple returning here after halftime. They'll have a chance to regroup, see what they can do. Forrest Brock, rough first half. So here comes Brock and the Owls. We'll see if Brock can do a little bit better here this half. As the man in motion, it's a fake. Hit hard. He's just got no time back there. Tulane's defense has been strong here today. As Wilson and Smith in the backfield. They will run the triple option. Slings it to Smith, but it's going nowhere. A loss of 3. And a chance for another third down stop for Tulane. Back to pass. Stepping up is Brock. Trying to juke. He just doesn't have the speed. He gets 8. And they'll be punting again. So the punt caught at the 30. Fair catch. And Tulane will take over. Temple's offense can't get anything going here. RPO on 1st and 10. Wide open. Caught for the first down. Ty Thompson has looked really good today. He's not making any huge plays, but he's making good plays. This one faked this time. What a throw and catch. Right past the ear of Eric Stewart. That'll be a first down. Keith Brown. Now the Tulane offense is looking really good, as they're inside the 40 up to the 34 here on 1st and 10. Empty backfield, a nice move past Woodbury, and a first down. That was the touchdown scorer, Alex Bauman. Now inside the 10 up to the 6. The Temple defense is getting gashed here. They will hand it off. The running game has been stuffed, but they've been passing a lot better. So they'll try it again on 2nd down. Thompson, back to pass. Finds his open man, but just 3 yards as Jalen Lewis makes the stop. So now you've got 3rd and goal from the 4. I think you could run it here if you wanted. They will pass. No one open, throws it through the back of the end zone. Nice stop by Temple again. So kick is up and good for Tulane. It is 10-0, but Temple's defense really doing a good job of just holding them off. Collins is going to return this one deep from the end zone. And it'll be up to the 21. So what do you do if you're Temple? You got to get something going here. But the game is still within reach at just 10-0. Brock throws it. Clark comes down with it. Nice play. With single coverage on the outside, he trusted Reese Clark to come down with it. He's had exactly his average per game, 2 catches, 30 yards. So a good play on 1st down. Handoff. Good blocking this time. He gets 4 yards, 5 yards. So Smith is trucking away. He's not got any big plays yet. And it's 2nd and 5. Fake this time. Back to Clark. He's got a first down. He's been the safety valve all season. Part of the issue with this Temple team is not having enough blocking to let those routes develop downfield. This is the mid-screen this time, and he's got room. Dante Wright, first down. Nice play there by Temple. Now they got 2 backs in the backfield. They'll run the fake and the swing outside. Joquez Smith, nice play, 6 yards. 2nd catch of the day. Now it'll be 2nd and 4. Good drive here by Temple. We'll see if they can close it out as we run down to the end of the 3rd quarter here. Smith makes a poor decision. It runs right into the defender, and that's going to end the quarter. Temple's got to score twice here in the 4th. So this has been kind of the issue all season for Temple. The offense just hasn't been there. We'll see what they can do here on 3rd and 4. Joquez Smith runs it, and no blocking up front. They're going to have to kick. So Trujillo, and he's missed it. He's now 5 for 11 on the season. I don't know what you can do. Bring a guy off the street to kick, I guess. That is a huge blow for Temple. And it's turned over to Tulane. What a throw on the fake, caught downfield. Keith Brown having a nice game. I thought maybe they would go to Hughes now with a 2-possession lead here in the 4th, but they're still throwing it. This time they'll run. They've been stopping Hughes all game, but it hasn't mattered. 8 for 20. When you score 0 points, it doesn't really matter what you do on defense. So now it's 2nd and 8. Hughes in motion. Hit hard on the screen. And it's a first down. Nice play there. So it's 3rd and inches, actually. I thought they got the first down. We'll see what they do here. This time to Hughes, and he's got enough room up to the 40. First down for Tulane. So it's 1st and 10, and the Owls really need to make a stop here. As a nice play there. Woodbury brings him down, and it'll be 2nd and 13. They throw it to the outside instead of handing it off, and maybe not the best decision as Jalen Lewis is there. He's having a good game. So 3rd and 14, they've backed him up probably out of field goal range. This might have been the stop that the Owls needed. Clock is running down though, under 3.5 minutes. 3rd and 14. Scrambling, hit hard, clock stops, and they will be forced to punt. So I'm really glad we turned off running into the kicker there. As Temple takes over, they've got to go down the field, score, and then score again. 1st and 10. This one to the sideline, caught by Baines. What a throw and catch. They'll hurry up to the line. That was one of the best throws from Forrest Brock probably this season. Going back to Baines. Hit hard, 9 yards. You gotta go quick here. And the clock is gonna keep ticking. 2nd and inches now as Brock steps up. He's got running room, and he'll slide down. 1st down, a nice play there by Forrest Brock. So they got one more play potentially here before the 2-minute warning. They will. And Brock is scrambling again. And he's fumbled the ball, and it's out. They will recover. And Tulane has probably just sealed the game here. Their 3rd take of the way of the game. The 3rd turnover by Forrest Brock. He needed to slide sooner there. He's lost the football. We were giving Forrest Brock a little bit too much praise, I guess, and he wanted to show us that maybe he's not the quarterback of the future. As Hughes, oh, what a move, breaks another one. He could go all the way. He's running away. It's Eric Stewart, can't reach him. Touchdown, Tulane, and there is Mekhi Hughes. He was quiet all game, 78 yards for the score. So returned here by Collins, and he's got room up to the 40. Could it be a 3rd of the year? Down the sideline and up to the 33. Nice return by Collins. But it's a 17-0 ball game. It might be too little too late. Here comes Forrest Brock. Back to pass. Stepping up. Sliding this time. He doesn't have enough time for these routes to develop, it seems. And he's been having to scramble a little here. Well, let's take a look at stats here, and if you have a weak stomach, look away. Forrest Brock, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and really he had 11 for 15, so like on his attempts, he was completing them. It's just he tried to do too much a couple times. That's what led him to turn the ball over. Joquez Smith, not a good game from him. Forrest Brock had the 2 fumbles, we just mentioned that. Receiving kind of looks like a typical game, just a couple catches across the board for everyone. Reese Clark had the most again. Not much to look at on offense, obviously. On defense, we had a couple TFLs, but again, no sacks. That hurts. And Jalen Lewis had the 1 interception. Jalen Lewis had a good game. He had a TFL, he had an interception, and I thought he did a good job. Outside of him, I don't know if I could say anybody did well. Let's forget about this one. 17-0 Tulane. So Temple drops down to 5-4 on the season. Unfortunately, they do have some tough matchups up ahead as well. I think it's the curse of me saying that they were about ready for a bowl entry, but at this point, they need to get another win. So looking ahead, we've got Florida Atlantic at home this time in Philadelphia, and this one we do have multiple guys visiting, so it'll be an interesting game. Hopefully we can do better this game. And then followed by UTSA, that one's in Texas. That's going to be a tough game, although they're 4-5, they're a tough team. And then at home versus North Texas, they just beat Tulane. So I don't think there's an easy game the rest of the season. Hopefully we can sneak out a victory or two, but it's going to be tough going forward. So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much all for watching. Really have been enjoying this series a lot, and we're coming to the end. If you have any suggestions for changes to make for next season, we talked about the quarter length. Please let me know, because I'm happy to take anything into consideration. But I'm going to think about that moving forward. Maybe even like sliders we'll think about a little bit as well. I think, though, for sure quarter length will be one thing we tweak, because throwing for 140 yards every game and rushing for 30, although our offense has been terrible, I just think it would be better if it was a little bit longer quarters. But with that being said, guys, thank you again for watching. Appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.